So my name is Amy Gadsden. I'm the Associate Dean for International Programs at Penn Law. The ISHRF and PLIP programs are a wonderful way to gain experience and exposure to law as practiced outside the United States as part of your legal education. The first program is the International Summer Human Rights Fellowship Program, and that places 10 students, generally 10 students abroad to do human rights work either at the grassroots level or in a multilateral institution looking at policy and funding. You apply to be a Summer Human Rights Fellow shortly after Christmas break, and you are provisionally accepted into the program pending your finding a placement. And then we work with students between sort of January and sometimes even as late as April or May to help them find suitable placements for the summer. There are obviously students who come to Penn Law School with a very pronounced interest in human rights and experience in the field. They are good candidates for ISHRF. But by the same token, we are very supportive of students who have no background or very limited background in doing international human rights work. As an International Summer Human Rights Fellowship, you are expected to spend your entire summer, minimum of 8 weeks, but generally closer to 10 weeks, committed to your human rights placement. You can conceivably split your summer between human rights placements. So if you wanted to spend 4 or 5 weeks at one human rights organization and 4 or 5 weeks at another human rights organization, we could certainly consider that on a case-by-case basis, but you could not work for a law firm in the U.S. for 6 weeks and then get a Summer Human Rights Fellowship for 4 weeks. The other thing is there are other funding sources for international human rights work in the summer, and particularly the Equal Justice Foundation Fellowship. The Summer Human Rights Fellowship Program is a great funding source. There's also some programmatic support that we build into the ISHRF program, so there are pre-departure trainings. There's a process of journaling or being in contact with colleagues over the course of the summer, and then there's some post-summer events and experiences that we put together for the Summer Human Rights Fellows. So you're part of a good, strong cadre of people in the law school who are also similarly interested and inclined towards international human rights. So it's a nice it's not just a summer program, there's kind of some other structural elements built into it. Students always end up finding good placements. I mean, we are here to help you. We're here to give you background information. We're here to put you in touch with fellow students who've gone before you to get their resources and contacts. We're here to use our own resources and contacts. The process of finding a placement is an education in and of itself, and so you will learn and be a much better fellow because of the process of going about and kind of figuring out what organizations work in the area you're interested in or in the country that you're interested in. What kind of work do they do? What kind of work you want to do vis-a-vis those organizations. So as intimidating as it seems to say to someone, here you're a fellow, go find your replacement, in fact, it always ends up being a really good process in the end. And by the time you get to your placement at the beginning of the summer, you're better prepared to get the most out of the experience. We have 10 fellowships available. We will only fill the 10 fellowships if we feel there are qualified students for it. And we've always had more applications than we have slots. But we have, roughly between 20 and 30 applications for the 10 slots historically, not 100 applications. So that, generally helps students understand, what how competitive the process is. So if you're admitted into the fellowship cohort, we ask that you do so with every intention of finding a fellowship to do human rights work overseas. But we understand that sometimes students are looking at multiple opportunities, and that's just something that students should be prepared to be really honest about and have a dialogue with us about. We'll look to find the right accommodation. The experience that they have in these programs overseas will change their lives, but undoubtedly for all of them, it's an experience they will remember all of their lives. So I encourage students to take advantage of it. please, if you have any questions, feel free to stop by my office or email us at international@law.upenn.edu.